What's up, guys? We're back with another Star Wars Black Series review, taking a look at an exclusive from Gamestop. So we're looking at one of the new Gaming Greats figures. We've got Jedi Knight Revan. So this is a color palette swap of the figure that we've had for a long time now, but he is featured as a Jedi in the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes game. Whatever that game is, I had no idea it even existed until this figure was announced. And I was initially not going to buy him because I don't really need him, but at the same time, he looked too cool to pass up, and then I started seeing pictures of him and realized he's going to look really fantastic next to that original figure, so here we are. So we've got him here in the Gaming Greats style packaging for the line. So it's really similar, but just a little different. You've got the Gaming Greats logo on the front next to the window. Fantastic artwork with that nice purple color scheme down there in the corner. We've got a purple stripe down the side, no number because he's exclusive, and then the back of the box features that bigger shot of the artwork with a little bit of a write-up. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our Jedi Knight Revan from this new Gaming Greats subline. This guy is pretty interesting because, well, I mean, it's a character that I'm very familiar with for years and years now, but this has never been a way that he's actually looked. It's a reskin for this Galaxy of Heroes game. Is it cool? Yeah, it's kind of cool, but at the same time, he is still a very old and outdated figure that has been limited by his design for a very long time. So if you're familiar with that original figure, you definitely know what's going on with this guy. He is mostly the same. He's got some changes here and there as far as soft goods, and he's got one less accessory this time around. But his head sculpt and the helmet and the hood situation is the same clunky mess that it's always been. So he can't do much except look up a little bit and look down a little bit, and then he's got a little bit of rotation. He's just locked into that, you know, hard shell, basically. It looks good. I think it works well from an aesthetic standpoint, but it limits the hell out of his articulation. The arms go out pretty decently. They can, of course, rotate only so far as the hood's going to let them because it drapes over the shoulders to give it a somewhat seamless look. You've got your single jointed, basically 90 degrees elbow with some rotation there. And then you've got hinges and rotation at the wrist. He's got a diaphragm cut here, so he goes backwards a little bit, forwards a little bit of bobble, and then he's got rotation there. There is a waist twist down here as well, but it only does so much because of all the stuff going on from this rubbery piece to the soft goods. The legs, well, we'll use the dress here. He can only do that because the legs are basically covered by this at all times. You really can't get it out of the way. It's covered by the skirt piece, so he only goes out that far, and then he kicks forward about that far. You can get it, but I mean, he looks kind of goofy. And then you've got a little bit on the back. There is a thigh cut up there. You've got your standard double jointed knees, and then you've got rocker and you've got hinges down at those ankles. Now, if you were to move this, obviously the legs are a little bit more articulated. They can go a little bit further out, still not too much. And then he can go a full 90 degrees, but the soft goods are always going to get in the way. That's just something that you have to work around. So he is still kind of the same clunky figure that you might be used to if you've got the Darth Revan version. It's just something that's limited by the design choices with the helmet hood situation, and then of course he's got a big long robe down there. Now, of course, I went into this figure knowing all of that. I knew how he was going to move, well, in some cases not move. I got this figure ultimately because I couldn't control myself, but also because I do think he looks really cool in this white and kind of coppery bronze color scheme. Whether or not this has any bearing on anything canon previously or to come, I do think he looks really cool. So it's basically, again, just a palette swap of that original Darth Revan figure. There are some changes to the soft goods, namely the fact that the skirt piece is clean. It's not all ragged, and it doesn't have holes in it, and he also doesn't have a cape. The original Darth Revan figure does have a cape, so he's missing that aspect, which seems to fit a little more in line with a Jedi rather than a Sith. So it works well, despite the fact that it is kind of a loss at the figure level. But he does look really cool. I've always been happy with the way this figure looks aesthetically, despite the fact that, of course, the hood and helmet are all very much confined up there. I do think he looks great. The drape, so to speak, on the hood works really well, especially as it kind of hangs over the shoulders. The armor is very much a Knights of the Old Republic kind of thing, so he does look really unique on your shelf. There's nothing else like him in the line, and this guy is, again, something else. He's even more apart from that because his color scheme is so different, and I'll do a comparison to the Darth Revan figure here shortly, but I do think he looks really good, and that's really what it came down to, is the looks. I'm a big fan of the Darth Revan helmet, and this of course is more of the same, just done up in a little slightly different color scheme. It's not exactly the same. It's not all that far removed either. It's a little bit different. There's some bronze on there instead of just a lot more red. Otherwise, they're still very similar to the standard helmets. And then you've got the kind of gold, weathered, and brown look for the harness and for his, torso pieces and the waist piece and everything. And it just looks good in this color scheme. And I really do like the legs on this figure. I think he looks really good with this kind of tan cream color down here. So as far as the sculpt goes, it's the same pretty good stuff that we're used to. The only problem with it really is, again, more the same. It just hinders how he can move. Now, where this figure truly differs from the original outside of, well, of course, the deco, is the accessories, because this guy costs more than your standard Black Series figure, but he comes with less stuff. So you've only got the one quote-unquote good guy lightsaber on this particular figure, because you can't go around giving a Jedi Knight a red lightsaber, although I really wish they would have given him a just non-red blade. Give him something else for that second lightsaber. Again, I don't know anything about the skin in the game for this guy or anything about what he's actually supposed to be in that instance of Galaxy of Heroes, but he only comes with one lightsaber. So you've got the same purple lightsaber that Darth Revan comes with in the original release for the Black Series. He just doesn't come with his red. So you've got a pretty unique hilt here. I mean, it's very, very different from a lot of others. It's rather long. It's got a lot of sculpt on it. It's almost very ancient looking. It looks very different from a lot of other sabers. And then you've got a purple blade. So it's really cool to get another purple blade in the line. But again, I really would have liked to have seen the opportunity to get a second lightsaber, whether or not he should actually have one here, because at the end of the day, more expensive figure, less stuff. And then here they are side by side. So we've got our Darth Revan and our Jedi Knight Revan. And what's interesting is that when you compare the two directly, you can really see how much the color scheme and paint job on this one brings out the sculpt on the chest armor. This one seems a lot less detailed because, well, it's kind of flat with the slightly gold color scheme and then the black. But with this having that bronze and the wash, it really brings out a lot more details that you might not notice right away on the original figure. And then, of course, you've got a really ragged set of soft goods on this side. And then he does, of course, he does have a ragged cape as well, whereas this figure does not, and he's a little bit more clean. Otherwise, they are still the exact same figure as far as sculpt and build, and then of course, well, he doesn't come with a second lightsaber. So overall, this is a pretty solid figure. Is he something that everybody needs? Not likely, but he is a pretty cool figure. He has all of those limitations that we're used to from that original figure, just done up in a more serene white color scheme, with of course some changes in the soft goods department and a lack of the second lightsaber that you do get with that first figure. He does look really cool in this color scheme. Again, I don't know anything about what he's supposed to be doing in this game or anything about it, or none of that really matters either. He looks pretty cool, and it's another Darth Revan, well, Jedi Revan, and at the end of the day, I couldn't really keep away from it. I didn't want to buy this figure at first, but then I had the opportunity, and yeah, I jumped on it. He was on sale. I'm not sure I would have bought him at full price, because I don't know if it's truly worth $25, but he is a pretty cool figure, and if you like Revan, this is probably something you've already gotten anyway. So that's going to do it for this look at the GameStop exclusive Black Series Jedi Knight Revan. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.